live on Christmas Eve, 1974.
Oh.
Well, we don't want to go back.
No.
You can't.
I didn't make any mistakes then.
No, you didn't.
That's not what I mean. I mean, I did.
Anyway, yes, from the parking lot of Sprouts Market, we're only about 33 minutes late because we got off to a pretty good start this morning. Anyway, happy Christmas Eve.
And if you're watching this in Japan, Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas in Japan. So, anyway, so.
Oh, why I said that? Well, that's where our son is right now, and daughter-in-law.
Yes, our son and daughter-in-law are at the ancestral home
The Oda family.
Of the Oda family in Japan. Our grandson Alex is in Honolulu, going to college,
but he's actually babysitting 4 chickens. Someone for Christmas. Don't ask me how idyllic can that be?
How happy can you make grandparents when the grandson is babysitting chickens? And he's he'll have Christmas dinner with some friends
from where he was living previously in Macau.
In Macau. So anyway,
who also are there. Anyway.
Well, anyway, dear, we had quite
are you on?
You're on.
Well, thank you for not telling me.
Okay, well, now I'm on.
Good. See, it's much better.
Yes. We had quite a class last night, a very, very good class.
7 whole people.
With us, that made 9.
Yes, we used up, let's just say we have extra chairs and we have room, but we have wood floors that our landlady would kill us if I put regular chairs on. So only part of it has got a big rug on it. So
yes,
anyway, we had room just for everybody. It was really nice, and we had the furnace on. It wasn't terribly cold.
Yeah,
it
was dangerously close to normal.
And it was we were discussing the Aeon card.
And yes, we had a good. I like it when everybody at class really has more to say about things than I do. It was a very intelligent.
Oh, honey, I always have more to say about things than you do, but it's not correct or anything. But see.
I wouldn't. No, I couldn't argue with that. But anyway, next week will be the 22nd week. Here, I'll get back on me. Will be the 22nd week that we've gone through the entire tarot trumps of the Thoth Tarot as subject matter. So next week will be graduation. And I told you about the graduation certificates I give out. But we had a couple regulars that came from a long way away every week at first.
If they couldn't come to this series because they have real jobs.
They have real job goings all around the world. NEXT, all around the world, huh? Oh no.
Names are on us.
And,
anyway, yeah.
But they're back from Egypt and Easter Island.
We'll have stories.
Yeah.
Peru, I think.
So, anyway, that's. I'm going to talk a little bit about Santa Claus today. I don't know if any of you are parents. Okay. Well, I do know that many of you are parents, and
you're very brave to do that now.
Yes.
I can't imagine. But anyway, so when the idea of Santa Claus did come up when Jean-Paul was 3.
So I like Santa Claus. Okay, Santa Claus is more real to me than well.
Now go ahead. You weren't raised Catholic, so go ahead and say it.
I wasn't raised Catholic, no, but I was raised in a Methodist family. I won't say I was raised
As a Methodist.
I was, yes.
You were not raised as a Methodist. You were raised in a Methodist family.
Family, yes. And, but Santa Claus was very real and I wouldn't say Santa Claus was very real to me, but Santa Claus was very magical to me. And so when Jean-Paul was born, our son was born in 1972, and we were very poor, and it was a very sort of modest Spartan environment.
That was when we were living in the apartment that had a bathroom. That we had to go one bedroom, and we had the living room for us, and he had the bedroom, and we had to go through his bedroom to get to the bathroom. But we were comfortable there, except that it was kind of a neighborhood where people were like killing each other in the streets now and then. So we kind of thought not a good place for him to walk to school when he got of school age. So,
but how we handled Santa Claus? Can you share with us how we?
Oh well, he asked something about Santa. He asked something I don't remember about Santa Claus, and because we would like do the goofy thing. Well, even before and after we talked to him about we'd ring bells and things when he was like in the middle of the night, jingle bells and stuff. But and of course you would see that when we went out shopping. There was to the big shopping center. There was a Santa Claus too. But we told him that it's not that Santa Claus is. Little kids like to see the actual a body of Santa Claus, and they think that that's Santa Claus. But Santa Claus really is. He's real, but he's a real feeling in everybody's heart that makes them want to give presents to each other, which makes them feel happy and jolly.
And he got that. I mean,
well, that's because little kids aren't stupid. We just assume that they don't understand anything, just like we assume cats don't understand anything. Of course, we're wrong about that.
So he was always respectul of the Santa Claus magic thing,
and the phony Santas dressed up and pretending they were Santa. That was all okay too, if you put it that way. It's sharing the feeling, that reminding people they have that feeling. So anyway, it worked okay.
So, well. I'm going to come back on me here.
Oh, I thought it was on you.
Oh no, you were talking. When your lips move, the camera automatically goes.
Oh, really?
No.
Is that why it goes off completely sometimes?
Sometimes it goes off. Well, anyway, that's it. You've done one parking lot thing.
But what are you going to talk about?
Well, yeah,
the last week of the year.
This is the last week of the year, and
the sun is starting to come back. The days are getting, believe it or not, the days are getting. Is it now automatically because my lips are moving, coming back on me? The sun.
Yes.
The sun is coming. Well, we say the sun is coming back, and Christians will say the sun is S-O-N is coming back. The thing is, neither one of them have left. Anyway, so it's, but the days are getting longer. So we are starting to, instead of thinking the end has already happened of the year in a strange sort of way.
Yeah.
And the year has begun, although we'll have New Year's, and when everybody makes resolutions, or not everybody, but people even if you don't make a resolution, because they don't, it's kind of, I like to think it's a new start. It's a new start. Anything could happen. Well, anything could happen anyway, whether you realize you're starting or not. But time to get rid of what you don't want and keep what you do want. Oh my God, that sounds so easy. And I'm not talking about clothes in your closet or furniture or feng shui. Although those things it's not that they're not important. I hate someone else telling me what's important to me and I should get rid of.
Yes, dear.
I have really odd tastes, and I
You're right, dear. Yes.
I have.
Of course.
I have a slowly
Of course.
thing
Of
about
course.
it. And I do. You know, when I collect something for 20 years, I it's something that I will always use and that you can't get anymore. It's that kind of stuff. So don't tell. Okay, I'm not talking about getting rid of that. And in Newport Beach in California and Southern California and Costa Mesa. Previously, in January, people would get rid of, clean out their garages and get rid of Christmas presents they didn't want and put out orchids and poinsettias and everything on the street near the trash can for people to take because it was a time when they were starting over and getting rid of stuff they didn't want, you know. And
you'd swoop in like buzzards.
I got some beautiful Symphony orchids that I still have. But anyway, so I'm not really talking about that, but I'm talking about maybe your... something more important like your thoughts, especially because you're getting ready to, people are around relatives and party things, even a New Year's party. It's a party season starting pretty much this week and until the end of the year. And your brain is overloaded with stressful things, or at least if it's not stressful things, you just go into a store and you're just bombarded by things to buy that taste good, look good, whatever, and but you don't really want them. So it's kind of like that. You have to just walk through with. What I'm really getting to is one mind. There's one mind, or you could call it, which will tell you the universal purpose, which will the same thing as your will, uniting with the universal purpose or the one mind. But when you're not connected to the one mind, it's like crazy collage of internet and traffic and Grand Central Station. Your brain, you don't really know what you want to get rid of and what you want to keep. And it's time to think about what do you want to get rid of, what do you want to keep, by realizing that a lot of times you're not connected to that one mind, that you have thoughts of your own, which means that thoughts of your own are when they're connected to the one mind.
Yeah. What'd you say about it?
That's so hard to believe that sounds so opposite.
I'd like to know what I think. But...
Yeah, I have thoughts of my own, but I would like to know what they are.
Yeah.
Especially when people are on the internet or just around a lot of people, you get things come out of your mouth that you don't mean, and you buy things you don't want, and you get stressed out for no reason, although it seems like a real reason, because you're bombarded by thoughts that are not your own. Just your mind will just invent all kinds of crap because it doesn't know what to do when it's run amok. So if you try to realize what's important and get back to just try to discover what your real thoughts are. Your real thoughts are usually peaceful and
at one with a universal purpose.
Yeah, and it's the unanimity for all. I mean, you just don't. You're not so upset about small things or people's flaws, or you just start to. Yeah, I don't know. It's ends up being only the, I hate to say, good stuff. But so just try to get rid of what you don't want and keep what you do want, and discover your own thoughts on a matter instead of what maybe you think you should think, or just what the collage of the world around you is thrown at you and you're distracted. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's all. Getting ready for a start over at New Year's.
I hope it includes popcorn.
There will be popcorn, I promise.
Okay.
Now I think I'm going to have to leave because I've talked way too much.
Oh, no, not at all. No, not at all, he said. Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to set the camera up. Now, it is not raining real hard at the moment, but just to prove that we are in a parking lot.
In the rain.
In the rain. And we're right in back of the Sacramento Zoo. here.
What?
And
Not right and back. It's a block away.
it's
Well, we're not backed up to it.
we're over a block away, and Land Park, but all the trees are bare, as in the classic movie Deduva. How cold and brittle treason looking now.
And them teachers standing. All them teachers standing.
Mais professeur, all them teachers standing.
Okay.
Okay.
That's enough of that one.
All right. Well,
real
we'll try not to
improv
keep you too much longer, but I've got a couple little things that I do want to share, and I'm setting up.
That will be worthwhile.
And now for something worthwhile. So, anything I can do to help you get out? Oh, you're going to get out and do everything yourself this time?
I'm collecting all my bags and my umbrella and don't show me.
I'm not showing you.
Most excellent. I'm taking off my glasses because I don't want them in the rain and I don't need to look smart in there.
Well, I'll come in just a little while
I know what for.
Just to check to see if you're looking smart. Anyway, okay. I do have a Santa Claus story. But even before the Santa Claus story, let's see if I can find it here on my Kindle. Let's see here. In Crowley's book 4, okay, which is the massive book, and to tell you the truth, because it's on my Kindle, sample here, I can't pinpoint the chapter and verse this is coming from, but it just struck me as I was going through it this morning that says, but what of the origin of religions? How is it that unproved assertion has so frequently compelled the assent of all classes of mankind? Is this not a miracle? In other words, aren't unproved assertions some kind of miracle just in themselves? There is, however, one form of miracle which certainly happens: the influence of genius. There is no known analogy in nature. One cannot even think of a super dog transforming the world of dogs, whereas in the history of mankind, this happens with regularity and frequency. Nowhere are three supermen. Now here are three, quote, supermen, all at loggerheads. What is there in common between Christ, Buddha, and Muhammad? Is there any point upon which all three are in accord? No point of doctrine, no point of ethics, no theory of a hereafter do they share. And yet in the history of their lives, we find one identity amid many diversities. Buddha was born a prince and died a beggar. Muhammad was born a beggar and died a prince. Christ remained obscure until many years after his death. Elaborate lives of each have been written by devotees, and there is one thing common to all three: an omission. We hear nothing of Christ between the ages of 12 and 30. Muhammad disappeared into a cave. Buddha left his palace and went for a long while into the desert. Each of them perfectly silent up to the time of the disappearance, came back and immediately began to preach a new law. This is so curious that it leaves us to inquire whether the histories of other great teachers contradict or confirm. Moses led a quiet life until his slaying of the Egyptian. Then he flees into the land of Midian, and we hear nothing of what he did there. Yet immediately on his return, he turns the whole place upside down. Later on, too, he absents himself on Mount Sinai for a few days and comes back with the tables of the law in his hand. Now, I don't think Crowley is suggesting that we have to, as a point of faith, believe in the historicity, especially of the prehistory mythological characters like are often found in the Bible stories. But nevertheless, the formula, the initiatory formula of the founder of a religion is still the same. In other words, there may not have been a historical Moses as we think of a historical character, but nevertheless, his story is as a formula of spiritual enlightenment, especially where the foundation of a religion is concerned, is still totally valid. St. Paul, again, after his adventure on the road to Damascus, goes into the desert of Arabia for many years, and on his return overturns the Roman Empire. Even in the legends of, Crowley says it, savages, we find the same thing universal. Somebody who's a nobody in particular goes away for a longer or shorter period and comes back as the great medicine man. But nobody ever knows what exactly happened to him. Making every possible deduction for fable and myth, we get this one coincidence. A nobody goes away and comes back a somebody. This is not to be explained in any of the ordinary ways. There's not the smallest ground for the contention that these were from the start exceptional men. Muhammad would hardly have driven a camel until he was 35 years old if he had possessed any talent or ambition. St. Paul had much original talent, but he was the least of the five, nor do they seem to have possessed any of the unusual materials of power, such as rank, fortune, or influence. Moses was a rather big man in Egypt. When he left, he came back a mere stranger. Christ had not been to China and married the emperor's daughter. Muhammad had not been acquiring wealth and drilling soldiers. Buddha had not been consolidating any religious organizations. St. Paul had not been intriguing with an ambitious general. Each came back poor. Each came back alone. What was the nature of their power? What happened to them in their absence? History will not help us to solve the problem, for history is silent. We have only the accounts given by the men themselves, and it would be very remarkable should we find that these accounts agree. Of the great teachers we have mentioned, Christ is silent. The other four tell us something more some less. But what they all had, and what started this all off, was this indefinable quality that Crowley refers to as genius. And anyway, it goes on, and I'm not going to bore you with big pieces of it. But anyway, I thought you would enjoy that. I have one little Christmas story to tell you. In my old biography, I wrote an autobiography when I was young. It's old, but it's still in print. It's called My Life with the Spirits. The first sections of the book more or less deal with autobiographical stuff, but every chapter is meant to show how I view certain landmarks in my growing up as little initiatory experiences. I got one chapter that says I am born, and the next chapter is I die. And this is the chapter that says I die. And it follows a little story of that I've shared with you before of I had like food poisoning, okay? And I was terribly sick at my, we were visiting my relatives in Nebraska. And I suppose I was 4 years old. And I was very ill and feverish. And I had a fever dream that Jesus was standing at the foot of the bed to take my soul to take. And after having a under the covers conversation to make him go away, finally when dawn came, I found that it wasn't Jesus at the foot of my bed. It was my mother's yellow dress that was hanging from the closet door that looked like Jesus in his robes. But anyway, that follows, or this little section I'm going to read now follows that story. Chapter 3, I die. As every holy man will tell you, in order to be spiritually born again, it is necessary to spiritually die. I've died more times than I care to remember, but never of natural causes. Anybody can die of natural causes. When you die by natural causes, you stay dead. In order to be born again, you must die by your own hand or be murdered. The first time I recall being murdered was on the morning of my 5th birthday, July 11th, 1953. My assassins conspired in whispers in the kitchen. I heard my mother tell my brother, "He's 5 now. Christmas is 5 months away. It's best to do it now, not close to Christmas. You tell him you can do it. You can do it nicely, okay? He'll be okay when all those kids come for his birthday party." You have to also remember that I'm immobile at that time. I was not allowed to walk because of a hip problem. Mark was a dear soul. He was tall for 11 and had the habit of chewing his shirt collar when he was nervous, which was nearly all the time. He came into the den where I had been eavesdropping on them whispering in the kitchen there. We sat down on Dad's big chair. He stuck his collar in his mouth. You know Santa Claus? Yeah. Santa Claus isn't real. And then I said, yes, he is. and I cut Mark off before could say anything else, and I pushed my tiny palms against his lips, trying to shove the words back into his mouth. I sat on his lap. Mom's got a picture. He gave me my paint box at your school show. He knew my name. Those are guys in Santa Claus costumes. Shut up, he's real. And then I started to cry. You're saying this to be mean to me on my birthday. No, I'm not. He comes, he eats the cookies. He drinks the milk, he leaves all those things for us. Mom and Dad wait till we're asleep. Then they get up and eat the cookies. They drink the milk, and they buy all that stuff for themselves, and other people buy us stuff too. And say it's from Santa. He's just a pretend guy. All the kids know he's not real. All the big kids know he's not real. You don't want the big kids to make fun of you, do you? I was beginning to realize he was telling me the truth, because I could easily imagine such a black secret bubbling in the heart of an evil big kid. He is too real. By now, I was lying to myself, and I kept crying just to hear myself cry. They were my last little kid tears. I knew when I had stopped, I'd be a big kid, and there'd be no more magic in the world. It's okay, we'll get stuff on Christmas. We'll always get stuff on Christmas morning. Mark was sweet as a brother as anyone could ask for. There's no Easter bunny either, is there? Nope. And when I put my teeth under the pillow, Mom takes your tooth while you're asleep and puts a nickel there. I didn't have to ask the next question, and he didn't have to tell me. We just sat quietly in Dad's big chair until I stopped crying. Jesus isn't real either, I thought. He's just a yellow dress. And that's my little story. For the chapter I was born, that was I die, and the next chapter is I descend into hell. Anyway, I don't know how appropriate any of that is today. At least it's Christmas themed. It looks like it stopped raining for a second here. I think we're in good shape. Anyway, I'm not taking Christmas off. Okay, I'll be here with you tomorrow. You can play the show while you're opening presents and drinking too much eggnog. Anyway, until tomorrow, on Christmas, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under